Okay, so we are finally live. So hopefully today I'm not going to have any more issues with technology because I've had enough for today. Like really, I've had enough. And that's why I'm late about half an hour. So I'm really sorry about that. But as you found out yesterday, I'm terrible with technology, and so I'm doing the best that I can. Hopefully the third time is a charm and cameras won't get like stuck in a weird position and my mic won't stop working. I hope so. Anyway, hi to anyone who's starting this journey with me. I'm really happy to see any one of you or anyone who's new, and I'm just happy to be here, honestly. I've gone on with my flowers. I've finished sorry. I finished the base, and you can see how pretty they are. I mean, they are lovely. And now I'm starting to do the 9-carat one, and you'll see the difference in colors. I mean, these are really oxidated, so I'm going to show you with another piece of gold that I got them from. This, but the color is really, really different. Anyway, I'll go on working with that, but first of all, I wanted to say again, thank you, and that my name is Joy, and I am an art jeweler. That's what people like consider me to be, and I think I just came to terms that in my life I want to be an artist. That's what I want to be. I don't think you are born an artist. But that's just because I have really, really high regards for artists. So I do think that we can all aspire to be an artist, but to truly be an artist, it takes time and courage and vulnerability and capacity also. Like, you have to be really good at what you're doing, and you have to have a certain kind of ability to share your human experience in a way that it's unique to you, rather than hasn't been done before, that's unique to you. But anyway, oops, sorry. So I'm gonna get my 9-carat gold, which has been sinking in acid for the time that I've figured out how to do this live, which has been quite a long journey today. And now I'm gonna mill it. I'm sorry that you saw the same thing 2 days ago, but this is what this work truly is, you know. And if I had used the same gold, I wouldn't have to mill it again, but it's wonderful being me. Anyway, this is 9-carat gold. It's made with the same alloy, not with the same, but with an alloy that's 50-50, so it's around 37.5% gold, and the rest of it is half copper and half silver. If you put more copper, it becomes harder and a bit redder. If you put more silver, it becomes softer and has like a greenish tinge. But you can see from behind how much whiter it is. I don't know if you can see the colors, but hopefully you can. So it's much whiter than 18-carat gold. There is less gold, and therefore it's less yellow. So yeah. I think that's fine. I was just checking the mic because yesterday was a bit traumatic, and so I was just checking. So again, I'm hammering away the borax. There was a little bit stuck there, and I don't want to ruin my mills. So, and now I'm going to start milling again. Amazing. And when you see all those reels of people doing things in like 5 minutes, now you know they're not true. Now you know. I mean, I guess everybody knew, but I think it's one of those things that we don't really want to admit, that things are hard and they take a lot of time and effort. And I don't think we really want to admit that, because we want to, in some way, continue to have hope that there are some things that are just easy and that just work beautifully. I mean, there are easy ways of doing this. I could just order sheets of gold or silver or whatever, but then I wouldn't have the chance to do my alloys, and honestly I love it. I have a collection of all the different colors of alloys, and they're very subtle, but when you put them together, they look beautiful. There was actually an English artisan, I don't remember her name at the moment, but she did for the goldsmith fair, I think, she did a necklace which was a chain, and it was absolutely stunning because it was made of, I think, like, I don't know, like 5-7 different alloys. I don't remember how many, but the point was that the chain had a gradient. So it started with a very, it started with like yellow gold, very yellowish gold. So something like 24, I don't think 24 carats, but maybe 22. And then it went to white gold. And then it went back to really yellow gold. It was really, really beautiful. So yeah, I really like that freedom. So I'll continue to do them this way. So now I have to do flowers that are a bit bigger because they have to just place themselves around the other ones. So I'm making this slightly bigger. I think I'm nearly there. But anyway, today I wanted to talk with you about a thing that one of my, I think, purposes in life, which is convincing everyone of becoming an artisan. And I don't mean this like you have to become an artisan as a job. I wouldn't recommend that for the faint of heart because it's really difficult and hard to become an artisan, and it takes like a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of pain, and a lot also of like disappointments, honestly. So I wouldn't suggest that to everybody, but I would suggest to everyone. Now I'm heating up the metal because it's too hard and I have to change the direction also. But I would suggest everyone and anyone to try to become an artisan, and just as a hobby, because I think it's absolutely amazing what's happening here. Sorry, I have to film it as well as I told you yesterday, because otherwise I won't remember no, it's not true, I will remember, but I won't be able to share it with other people, and I need to, because I want to. So yeah, so I have to do that. I forgot that I hadn't opened my gas. Well, it's not, it's oxygen and hydrogen, but I hadn't opened it, so I couldn't actually use the flame. Anyway, I want to convince every one of you to try and have a hobby of something that you do with your hands. Had to film it. But as I was saying, doing things with your hands, I mean, try it, promise me you're going to try it and then tell me. But it's the most relaxing and grounding and peaceful thing you can ever do, at least in my opinion. Because like meditating is great, I do meditate, especially because I don't know if this happens to you, and I don't know, there are so many like videos out there about like neurodivergence and ADHD and being neurotypical, neurodivergent, all of that. And I think everybody watches them and is like, oh, I have that. Oh, but I don't have any kind of mental health issue, and I know it because I can go on with my day-to-day life, and I don't have anything that's really like causing any issue for me. So I don't think I have any kind of mental health issue, fortunately, because it would make my life harder, honestly. But when I hear those things about like people with ADHD that can't shut down their heads and stuff like that, that happens to me like so much all the time. And even when I'm silent, my head just sings songs usually, which is quite disturbing. And it's not helping me like fall asleep or do something like that. So I do meditate, and I don't know why I'm sharing this. This is just to say that I do meditate because it really helps my brain, ouch, it really helps my brain quiet, and I sometimes really need my brain to be quiet. But it's not only about being quiet all the time. I think having a hobby, having something that you create with your own hands, that can be like, yeah, creating jewelry like I do, or can be sculpting, drawing, playing music. Shit, that's too hard. Playing an instrument, or writing poetry, just writing in general. You see, this becomes really hard because there is a lot more copper than in an 18-karat gold, which is why it's so hard, so easily. Anything that you can do with your minds and your head together, which is what to me is being an artisan is all about. It's gonna give you so much peace of mind. Trust me on this, please. It's amazing what doing this can do. Like working with your body and your mind together and putting your emotions down, or just stopping overthinking everything. Because, you know, even if, I mean, this is my job, so obviously I have a bit more responsibilities. But if I were doing it as a hobby and I wasn't using such expensive materials like gold, then, I mean, if I was doing like a pot, if I wasted a bit of time doing a pot just because it made me feel better, so be it. You know, not everything needs to be perfect all the time. And we should just do things that we really, really enjoy. And that's one of the reasons why I really want to, I've said it this 20 times, but I really want to create this community for artisans and people who want to talk about art and craft and all of that, because it's such a wonderful place to be. It's honestly a wonderful place to be. And I wish that there were many, many more people here, like woodworkers. You know, I'm a very, I mean, if you give any kind of worth to coherence, then, and you know anything about me, you must think I have some political views, because I only use fair mined gold, I only use traceable gemstones, I only use renewable energy for my workshop. So I do have a very specific political view, and I love that my job can have an impact on what are my values, because I think it's very important. But I would love, through art, to be in contact with people who have a completely different idea from mine. Not people who are who are bullies and want to force their idea on me. I really don't appreciate that, and I try not to do it myself. But I would like to be in contact with like a woodworker in Texas who is profoundly conservative and who can tell me why he or she's or they are profoundly conservative, and what happened, what's their life story, and how they express those morals and values in their work. You know, it's just, I think crafts is something that has been done since we became Homo sapiens. I actually think before that, because there was Homo habilis who was doing like tools, and so there was, you know, so it's something that literally it has been done before we became the species that we are. So I think it's a shared experience. Let's say that. I think it's a shared experience, and we should cherish that. We should give it much more value than we do. We give so much value to things that are completely useless, and we don't give enough value to these aspects that, I think are so important. I literally believe that everyone in this world should have a kind of hobby or a work that involves doing something creative with their hands, with their body, with their minds, and spending some time doing that. I know I should fix this, and this should be fixed to the table, but I really love this table and I don't want to drill it, so I'm making my life harder than it should be just because I really like the table. This table was of an old woodworker from where I live that didn't find any young person to whom teach his craft, and so my parents bought it, but then it was too big. They bought it because they loved it, but then it was too big and they couldn't stay in their house, and so they gave it to me, and I love it. I love it and cherish it because it's so... I should really stop doing this. Now you're going to see me sweat. Anyway, I love it and cherish it. I'm going to leave that for a minute because it has all the markings of where things were cut and painted, and you know, it's amazing. Like all the tools are. One of my favorite things is just watch, is to go to museums and look at the tools of other craftsmen, because they're so, like this thing, this wooden, I don't remember the name in English, sorry, is so telling of what kind of artisan you are in the goldsmith community, silversmith community. We all know this. Like, I'm very conservative. This is quite new, but I don't use it as much as I should. But I don't know, I know I'm going off on a tangent about tools, but tools are amazing. Let's say that. Anyway, let's see what I can do here. It's stuck exactly halfway, and I need to do what I don't like, which is push it through. You know, this happens exactly because I was distracted and speaking with you, and I didn't realize that it was becoming too hard. And now, and this also wouldn't happen if this was fixed. And with fixed, I mean like drilled in the table. But I don't want to do that. So now I'm heating it again because it's hard, as you may have noticed. But anyway, the reason, so I know I've talked about the fact that I would like everyone to become an artisan in any kind of shape or form, but the reason why I know I'm right, it's because it happened to me. So I wasn't always supposed to be a goldsmith. I think we all have our stories or whatever, but I thought of myself as a biochemist. That's what I wanted to become. I went to university. I studied chemistry. I studied chemistry only because we don't have a biochem course in Italy for some weird reason. But then I realized that I didn't like the job. It was... Sorry. Didn't realize there was still a bit of borax there. So I realized that the job wasn't for me. And it's fine, you know, that's what your 20s are for. Realizing what you like, what you don't like, what's for you, what you would like your life to be like, and you can change. It was very hard for me to realize that I could change because I had put so much effort into being like a straight A student and opening opportunities for myself and all of that, but I realized that it wasn't what I wanted. And so after a while, it took a while, but I kind of accepted it, but I accepted it only because I started before I actually finished, like before I dropped my thesis in, I decided to start a course, a goldsmithing course. It's so hard today, in Florence. And that literally changed my life, as you can see, because I would have never, ever done this without that course. And I was very, very lucky because there was a course, because I could afford the course, and because I was good at it. So I was absolutely privileged and lucky, but it changed my life so much. And I don't think, I mean, obviously having it as a job is a complete and utter privilege. It is. And it's very hard. I've said it like 20,000 times, but I'll say it again. It's very hard to make money and sustain yourself as an artisan. It's not something that can be taken for granted. But I would do it. Maybe I wouldn't do it with gold if it wasn't my job. I would do it with something else. Maybe I would do it with silver, which is much less expensive. Or I could do it with brass or copper, or I could do some pottery or other stuff. I would write, honestly. That's another thing I would like to do. But I was really, really lucky, and my life changed so much when I started doing stuff with my hands. I'd always been quite a creative person, but we all are. Honestly, we all are. And I don't know, I just started doing that, and it made me feel so good. I was at peace, which is something that I never thought I was going to be. I'm usually not that kind of person. I never even gave that much value to being at peace. Maybe because I was too young for it. I still am, honestly. A part of me thinks that, at least. But creating stuff with my hands just gave me so much peace of mind, and I can stay here at my bench, listening to an audiobook, or listening to a movie, listening to music, listening to anything. Just listening to the sounds outside, like the trees moving, the rain, the birds, because I'm in the countryside, but also people walking around. That makes me happy. It just gives me... I can't believe I'm doing this again. I thought I gave it another squeeze. I was like, this is hard, but it's not super hard. I can still do a last thing. And then, you see, this is what happens when you're not paying enough attention. Again. I'm going to be all sweaty after this. But now I've gotten to the right... This is really thin, because otherwise the earrings are going to be too heavy. See how thin that is? Sorry. It's really, really thin. So, and I'm going to heat it again, because then when I cut it, it's going to be a bit softer to cut. And also when I hammer it. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, who am I to tell you what you should do? I'm nobody, and I shouldn't tell anyone what they should do. But the only thing I can say is that, to me, taking time and creating stuff is as important as eating well, sleeping, and going to the gym. You know, or doing some kind of physical exercise, rather. I'm not a gym person. To me, it's just as important, because it's another dimension, I feel. It's another dimension of peace and of being with yourself, which is very important to me. And I don't know, I hope somebody else does it. Maybe you won't, and that's absolutely fine. But if you do, I'm going to be happy. I'm genuinely going to be happy. So this was I haven't used them today. So this was the same, was the size that I used to create these flowers. So I'm just going to do it a little bit bigger for these ones. Probably didn't, I'm going to do only 2 and then have the 2 other leaves on the side, just so I don't use like so much of it, because I did use a lot. Like you can see all of this is going to need some remelting, which is absolutely fine, but if I can use less, I'll do that. Also because I don't use a lot of 9 karat gold, but this is quite, I think it's quite, it's a bit too big. So that, here we are. Let's see if that fits. So I'm probably going to do just 2 flowers here, and then I'll have to remelt it to do the petals actually, because I decided that I want to do them a bit bigger than I thought I was going to do them. Yep. I love doing improv. Actually, I actually do. This is what I love doing, not planning everything, just giving my mind and my hands time to be and create and do what my eyes think is best, rather than having everything just mathematically defined. It's just not the way that I work, which, I mean, it's the way other people work, just not me. I'm going to do the same thing that I did here, so I'm still going to have 3 flowers and 2, but probably I'm going to put the 2 flowers before the 3, I think, but I'm going to see probably tomorrow at this point, because it's like 7:45, it's really late. I should start going. Would you like it if I just stayed in silence for a while and we can just work together? Because I would like to see, I would like that. I would like to have people to work with. I know it doesn't work like this, I know. It's just something, it's wishful thinking. These petals are going to be something like that. And I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to put them in this way just so I have less part that I need to cut. So from here I can just enter from this side, if that makes sense. I really love the meaning behind these flowers, and I'm already doing the 9 karat gold, so probably tomorrow I'm going to start the brass, even if I decided to not put any diamonds in the 18 karat apart from a central one, so there's going to be a central diamond in there, and then the 18 karat are going to be like perfect, flawless, and without any kind of, maybe some really small diamonds, but just a very small touch. And then the 9 karat are going to have champagne diamonds, and they're going to be a bit bigger, because my idea is that like diamonds and gemstones represent the special moments that we have, and I think the older we become, the more relevant those moments are, and so the gemstones will become bigger and more colourful, because we also gain like depth and complexity, which I'm representing through colour. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to finish this now here, because otherwise it's going to be like super long, and I don't know, because I'm using another program and not directly on YouTube, I can't see like comments or stuff like that, which obviously are not there now because this is my day and nobody knows I exist, which is absolutely fine, but I would like to sort that out in the future, because I would like to speak with whoever's at the other side of this camera. Yeah. So that's all for today, and I hope to see you tomorrow or whenever you have time. Bye. Bye.